Hello, dear friends. We're here with the second installment of the Premiere Pro 2023 tutorial series to serve you well. Before we dive into the tutorial, we kindly request that you subscribe to our channel and don't forget to enable notifications. If you find the tutorial enjoyable, please remember to like and leave a comment. We'll be continuing this tutorial from where we left off in the previous segment. Now you can click on a video in the bin and drag it onto the timeline. Oh, great. A video is nicely placed on the timeline. I'll explain about video sizes in another section comprehensively, but for now, let's get acquainted with the software's windows. Very good. After you've dragged the video onto the timeline and placed it as you can see, your video file is on the timeline, and other menus have appeared. Excellent. We want to provide explanations about the timeline window. The timeline has two sections, the video section and the audio section. As you can see, this V section is related to the visual part, where the video footage goes. The bottom part of the timeline is for audio, where only the sound goes. You can easily adjust the audio lane within the timeline and even use the drop-down panel here to resize it, either making it bigger or smaller. We make it larger to view the sound's waveform. This helps us edit voices and music comfortably. The waveform is essential, even for finding beats and music for creating video music. If you right-click on the audio section in the timeline, you'll notice you can add or remove a track. You can create as many tracks as you need. If you right-click on the top of the timeline, you can change the display format of the timecode. We'll discuss this later. Alright. As you can see, there's a small set of menus at the top of the timeline. These menus are crucial and aid significantly in the video editing process. The first and most important one is Add Marker, which allows you to mark your videos. Whether it's for a music beat or anything else, marking is crucial in the editing process. The next menu is Snap in the timeline. When it's on, it acts like a magnet. It might be best to turn it off now to see what it does. We go to the end of a video. I want to add another video to the timeline. I want to place this video wherever I want, but finding the exact end of the previous video is tricky. I might lose a frame or a part of the video in doing this. Why? Because it might accidentally stick to the previous video. Alright, now I want to turn on Snap and see how adding a new video or moving videos in the timeline changes. Wow, see that? It easily snapped to the previous video, just like a magnet. Alright, let's move on to the next menu. The link selection menu is also very important. With it off, you can easily select either video or audio. It means you can edit or delete them separately. But if it's on, you'll select both video and audio as a group. This is excellent when you need to separate the audio from the visual. It speeds up editing significantly. This menu is for toggling on and off the V, and the lines for entering the timeline. It's not useful for moving videos, but rather for video import. Another important menu beside the timeline is the one labeled Lock Tracks. Oh, what happened? Oops, my mistake. Alright, the individual track lock section pertains to the timeline tracks. When we lock a track, all the videos or audios within that track get locked and no action can be performed on them. If you allow me, I'll discuss its application in the upcoming sections. An essential option within the timeline is the settings option in the timeline. By clicking on this option, you have a range of choices to customize your timeline. For instance, you can toggle the waveform for audio on or off. I've just disabled this section. As you can see, the audio waveform disappeared. You can also choose to show or hide clip names, among many other customizations you might need based on your project. In this section, there's also a scroll for adjusting the video display size in the timeline, similar to audio. You can adjust this change for each video line and use the shortcuts demonstrated in the image. Within the timeline menu, there's an eye symbol. This eye symbol lets you toggle whether a video line is visible or not. If you turn off the eye, the video on that line won't be shown, revealing the lower layer. All right, let me tell you about another practical feature during editing. You see these A and V layers, which are blue. So, what are these for? If you bring the A layer out of blue mode and then add a video to the timeline, only the visual part gets added. But if you bring V out of blue mode, only the audio gets added to the timeline. Great. Now, let's move on to the timeline